What if I told you that September 2025 is not simply a turn of the calendar, but a sacred passage written in the hidden language of the universe? What if I told you that this month carries a vibration so rare, so potent, that it echoes through both numerology and astrology like a bell ringing across the mountains of time? The air itself seems to hum with a rhythm, reminding us that nothing in this life is random. Every number, every symbol, every pattern that finds its way into our days is part of a greater design, waiting for us to pause long enough to notice. For centuries, mystics and seers have understood that numbers are not just human inventions, but living frequencies. Nostradamus warned that humanity would one day awaken to symbols guiding the course of history, while Baba Vanga whispered that in times of transition, signs would appear more vividly for those with the courage to see. Buddhism, too, tells us that life unfolds not through chaos, but through interdependence, each moment linked to the next, like beads upon a mala. In this light, September does not simply arrive. It reveals itself, a cosmic mirror, reflecting both what we must release and what we are called to embrace. The dominant frequency of this month is the number 9. A vibration of completion and renewal. To walk with 9 is to honor the sacred art of endings, the release of old burdens, the bow of gratitude to what has passed, and the courage to step unshackled into what is new. The full moon of this month amplifies that power, urging us to loosen the ties that no longer serve and to see endings not as losses, but as gateways. Within this cosmic alignment, 6 sacred numbers rise from the silence, each carrying a unique message, each vibrating with the energy of abundance, balance, and awakening. But the universe in its mystery does not stop there. Beyond these 6 stands one rare master number, a hidden turning point, a key that has appeared in the lives of seekers, leaders, and dreamers across time. It is not a number to be glanced at casually. It is an energy that magnifies intention, protects the path, and reveals that abundance flows most powerfully when we trust rather than force. To encounter it is to be reminded that we are never walking alone. Our steps are witnessed, guided, and carried by currents we cannot always see. These numbers are not chosen at random, nor are they mere curiosities. They are signals, living frequencies aligned with the same pulse that moves the oceans and shifts the stars. They are the universe speaking softly, offering guidance in the form of patterns most overlooked. If you listen closely this month, you will find them appearing in your dreams, on clocks, in receipts, even in the quiet pauses of your thoughts. Each time they arrive, they ask not for fear, but for recognition. They ask you to stop, breathe, and remember that the path of abundance begins not in chasing, but in aligning. So I ask you now, as this sacred month begins, are you truly ready to listen? Are you willing to see beyond coincidence and open yourself to the possibility that the universe has been whispering to you all along? The first number that rises from the heart of September 2025 is the sacred 9, the vibration of completion and the embodiment of the soul's journey. In numerology, 9 is the last step in the cycle, the closing of a chapter, the breath before a new beginning. It does not rush or force, but whispers that endings are sacred, for without them nothing new can truly be born. The Buddha reminded us, the root of suffering is attachment, and so number 9 arrives not to punish, but to free, to cut the roots of clinging, to release you from burdens you were never meant to carry. When this number appears, it is a sign that the universe is gently preparing you for transition. Old cycles are completing, old skins are shedding, and though the process may feel uncertain, it is guided by wisdom beyond the mind. Nostradamus often spoke of endings not as disasters, but as thresholds, doorways that open only when another has closed. Baba Vanga, too, reminded seekers that release is not weakness, but the most sacred form of preparation for what is yet to come. To see 9 is to know that you are being guided toward liberation, even if it first arrives clothed as loss. Completion is not to be feared, it is mastery. Just as the lotus must push through the darkness of mud to reach the light, so too must we let go of what weighs us down. September asks us to pause, to honor the wisdom of all that has been, and then to bow with gratitude before we set it down. To cling to what no longer serves is to suffocate the soul, but to release with love is to step unburdened into power. In Buddhist thought, the number 9 is not only the end, but also the seed of beginning. Every ending carries within it the whisper of renewal, like autumn leaves falling to nourish the earth for spring's return. This month, the energy of 9 asks you to reflect: what relationships, beliefs, or habits have reached their natural conclusion? What patterns keep you circling the same wheel of suffering? And what new path opens once you dare to step beyond them? The truth is simple: to complete is to become whole. The energy of 9 teaches us that nothing is wasted, for every step, every tear, every joy has shaped the wisdom you now carry. What matters most is not clinging to the past, but allowing its lessons to shape your future. To embody the soul is to trust that endings are never the end, but always a return to the eternal cycle of becoming. So as September unfolds, I ask you, what are you still holding on to out of fear, and what must you surrender now, so your spirit can finally breathe free? The second sacred vibration that blesses September 2025 is the luminous 66, the master number of attraction and prosperity. Unlike fleeting fortune that comes and goes like the wind, 66 is a steady current, a magnetic force that draws harmony, abundance, and blessings into your orbit. In numerology, double digits amplify their essence, and here the nurturing 6 appears twice, reminding us that prosperity is not a prize to be chased, but a resonance to be embodied. In Buddhist wisdom, generosity and compassion are the fertile soil in which true wealth grows. Just as a tree bears fruit not for itself, but for all who come to rest in its shade, so too does 66 teach us that the more we give, the more naturally we attract. This sacred number calls us to remember that prosperity is not limited to coins or possessions. It is the richness of health, the warmth of community, the serenity of a mind at peace. When your heart is aligned with compassion, you move beyond the illusion of scarcity and into the boundless field of abundance. Baba Vanga often spoke of a future shaped not by greed, but by collective care, where wealth was measured by harmony and unity rather than by gold. Nostradamus, in his cryptic visions, hinted that humanity thrives most when compassion outweighs selfish ambition. September's gift of 66 is therefore not just personal, it is collective. It whispers of prosperity born from love, balance, and shared intention. To embody this energy, we must become magnets. Not through striving, not through anxious grasping, but through alignment. When you live with kindness, when your actions are infused with integrity and compassion, abundance flows naturally toward you, as rivers flow into the ocean. The universe does not respond to desperation, but to vibration, and 66 is the vibration of trust, reminding you that what you carry within will shape the world around you. This month, reflect on the frequency you broadcast. Are your thoughts tuned to fear, to lack, to worry? Or do you carry within you the calm assurance that you are supported, guided, and provided for? The Buddha taught that the mind is everything. What you think, you become, and 66 echoes this eternal truth. What you radiate, you attract. To live with scarcity in the heart is to walk with closed doors, but to walk with faith and openness is to see the universe stretch wide its arms. The beauty of 66 is that it does not ask you to chase wealth, but to become wealth, to embody the energy of harmony, so deeply that blessings have no choice but to flow to you. It reminds you that your prosperity is inseparable from the prosperity of others. When you nurture, you are nurtured. When you give, you are given. When you align, the universe responds in kind. September 2025, under the guidance of 66, is not just about receiving, it is about creating a rhythm of abundance that continues to echo long after the month has passed. So I ask you, what frequency are you broadcasting into the universe, and what form of wealth is it quietly inviting into your life? The third sacred number that rises in September 2025 is 22, the master builder, the architect of dreams, turned into reality. Unlike fleeting inspiration, 22 carries the rare vibration of endurance, discipline, and sacred design. In numerology, it is one of the most powerful numbers, for it does not merely imagine possibilities, it lays the stones brick by brick until vision takes form. Its energy reminds us that even the grandest temples begin with a single foundation, and that what is built in alignment with truth will outlast both storms and time itself. This month, 22 calls you to embody patience, persistence, and clarity. It whispers of the monks who rise at dawn to tend to their practice day after day, never rushing but never wavering. It reflects the hands of the ancient architects who carved sanctuaries into stone, knowing they were building for generations not yet born. To walk with 22 is to walk with purpose, to honor the slow rhythm of creation that demands both strength and surrender. The Buddha taught that enlightenment is not a sudden gift, but a path walked with countless small steps, and 22 embodies this wisdom fully. The seers of the past foresaw the power of this vibration. Nostradamus spoke of visionaries who would plant seeds of wisdom for ages to come, shaping the destiny of humanity with structures unseen but deeply felt. Baba Vanga often spoke of foundations being rebuilt, not in the material sense alone, but in the moral and spiritual architecture of our world. The echo of their prophecies resounds within 22, reminding us that our work is never only personal, it is woven into the greater fabric of humanity's story. September's presence of 22 is a call to examine what you are building. Are your foundations set upon shifting sands of doubt and distraction, or are they grounded in silence, integrity, and vision? This is not the time to rush, for what is rushed crumbles. It is the time to be steady, to align with your highest purpose, and to construct a life, a path, or even a legacy that endures. Just as the lotus rises steadily from the mud, so too does the work of your soul rise through patience and clarity. To align with 22 is to understand that creation is sacred. Every choice, every thought, every act becomes a stone in the temple of your destiny. If built with mindfulness, what you create now will not only serve you, but will echo into the lives of others, rippling forward into the unseen future. September does not ask for quick victories. It asks for the laying of stones, with reverence, with awareness, and with unwavering faith that the universe itself is guiding your hands. So I ask you, what foundation are you laying today that your soul and perhaps generations to come will thank you for tomorrow? The next vibration that enters the sacred flow of September is 3, the number of joy, creativity, and radiant expression. In the teachings of the Buddha, joy is not a fleeting emotion tied to desire or circumstance. It is a state of inner awakening, a natural fragrance of the enlightened mind. Number 3 embodies this truth, reminding us that joy itself is a spiritual path. A simple smile can be a meditation, a word spoken with compassion can be a prayer, and the act of creating beauty in any form can be a liberation for the soul. In September 2025, the appearance of 3 is a gentle yet profound reminder that abundance without joy is like a hollow vessel, and success without laughter is an empty throne. True wealth lies not only in what you accumulate, but in the lightness of spirit you carry into each moment. Nostradamus, in his cryptic visions, spoke of poets, musicians, and artists as the hidden prophets of their time, souls who translated divine whispers into song, brushstrokes, and verse. Baba Vanga, too, often hinted that those who uplift humanity through joy are chosen carriers of sacred missions, weaving hope where despair once dwelled. The vibration of 3 arrives not with force, but with music, like the sound of a flute played in a crowded marketplace, rising above the noise to touch the heart. It invites you to loosen the grip of worry, to step into the dance of your own rhythm, to share your laughter without fear of judgment. For joy is not foolishness, it is courage. To smile when the world is heavy is an act of strength. To sing your soul's song in times of uncertainty is to remind yourself and others that the light is never extinguished. This number also carries a message of authentic self-expression. Just as a bird does not ask permission to sing, so too must you trust your voice. Speak your truth with gentleness, but do not silence it. Create, even if the world does not yet see the value of your creation. Number 3 is a reminder that every act of expression, whether through words, art, kindness, or laughter, is a ripple of energy that shapes the unseen currents of the universe. The energy you release through joy today becomes the harmony that carries you forward tomorrow. To embrace 3 in September is to remember that the soul was never meant to live in shadows. Life, no matter how complex, always offers moments of beauty if only you are willing to see them. A blooming flower, a child's laughter, the warmth of sunlight. These are not small things, but sacred gateways into presence. Joy is not a distraction from the path. Joy is the path. In Buddhist wisdom, the awakened one is not grim or severe, but radiant, for true liberation carries the fragrance of peace and joy. So I ask you, how will you choose to express your authentic joy this month? Even when the winds of uncertainty blow, will you withhold your song, or will you let it rise and bless the world? The 5th vibration that moves into the sacred rhythm of September is 5, the number of freedom, transformation, and untamed possibility. This number is the restless wind that breaks through stagnant air, the wave that reshapes the shore, the fire that clears the forests so that new life can emerge. In the wisdom of Buddhism, this force is known as impermanence, the truth that nothing remains fixed, that all things are in constant motion. To see 5 is to be reminded that clinging leads only to suffering, but flowing with change brings release, growth, and liberation. In September 2025, the presence of 5 whispers that change is not an enemy, but a sacred companion. Like a river that never flows backward, this month urges you to release the illusions of control and step into the current of transformation. Nostradamus, in his cryptic writings, foresaw great revolutions rising when rigidity finally cracked and gave way to renewal. Baba Vanga too spoke often of breakthroughs that could only come through upheaval, as though destiny itself sometimes requires the shaking of old structures before new light can emerge. The energy of 5 is this very prophecy unfolding within your own life. This number does not arrive with gentleness. It arrives as a force of movement, sometimes unsettling, sometimes exhilarating, but always purposeful. If you resist it, change will appear as chaos, stripping away your comfort and leaving you anxious. Yet if you embrace it, change becomes liberation itself, a sacred teacher clearing the space for your true self to shine. Number 5 asks you to look at where you have become too rigid, too comfortable, too attached to things that no longer align with the soul you are becoming. To walk with 5 is to remember that the winds of life are not here to scatter you, but to carry you. Every storm is an invitation to trust the unseen hand of the cosmos. Every shift is a reminder that life is alive, dynamic, and unfolding beyond the boundaries of your plans. In Buddhist thought, This is the dance of samsara, not a prison, but a constant chance to awaken in each moment of change. 5 teaches that freedom does not come by controlling the currents of life, but by learning to sail upon them with courage. The vibration of 5 is also deeply personal. It may appear when you are asked to step beyond the familiar, when your spirit longs for adventure, when your heart aches for something new yet your fear holds you back. September 2025 calls you to loosen your grip, to trust the journey, to let change reveal paths you could never have imagined. The wind of 5 does not destroy, it transforms. What it takes away, it does so to prepare you for what is greater, more aligned, and more true to your soul. So I ask you, what change are you being called to embrace this September, not with fear, but with faith? Can you surrender to the wind of transformation and allow it to guide you into the freedom your spirit has always known was waiting? The hidden treasure within September's sacred sequence reveals itself as 44, the double master builder, the vibration of endurance, legacy, and unshakable destiny. Unlike fleeting numbers that carry passing lessons, 44 arrives with weight, with gravity, with the immovable presence of mountains. It is not merely a number, it is a fortress of energy, a foundation that asks you to build not only for yourself, but for generations yet unborn. Where 22 lays the stones of a temple, 44 constructs the empire of the soul, vast and enduring. In the teachings of Buddhism, the greatest strength is not in conquest, but in the stability of mind. A restless mind builds castles in the sand, but a steady mind builds foundations that time cannot erode. The number 44 embodies this principle, whispering that true power is patience, and true wealth is endurance. Nostradamus foresaw in his cryptic prophecies the rise of eras, shaped not by the fleeting ambitions of the moment, but by those who carried discipline and vision strong enough to span lifetimes. Baba Vanga, too, spoke of souls who came not to live for themselves alone, but to leave behind a legacy of light that would ripple into centuries. This month, September 2025, carries within it the rare current of this master number. It asks you to think beyond the moment, beyond the temporary, beyond the short-lived desires of the restless ego. Number 44 is the builder who measures carefully, who lays each brick with intention, who does not rush, but knows that permanence requires patience. The structures you set in motion now, whether in love, in work, in family, or in spirit, will not fade with the passing seasons. They will become part of the architecture of your destiny. To walk with 44 is to stand tall in the face of challenges, to hold steady when others falter, to trust the long game when the world is obsessed with immediacy. This number does not promise shortcuts or sudden victories. Instead, it offers the far greater gift of endurance. It tells you that what is slow to grow is slow to break, and that what is built on wisdom will withstand storms that no hasty creation can survive. In this way, 44 is both the test and the blessing. It requires patience, but it rewards with permanence. And so September places this rare vibration in your hands as a sacred offering. It whispers, be deliberate, be disciplined, be visionary. Ask yourself not only what serves you now, but what will serve your children and their children after them. For the truest mark of destiny is not in what you gather, but in what you leave behind. Number 44 is your reminder that a life of meaning is a life that outlives itself. What then are you ready to build in this season of endurance? What dream is so true, so aligned, so sacred, that you are willing to invest your strength, your time, and your spirit into it, so that long after you are gone, its blessing will remain to guide those who follow? So as September 2025 unfolds, the universe does not scatter numbers before you by chance. It lays down a sacred sequence like stepping stones across the river of time. 9, 66, 22, 3, 5, and the master vibration of 44. These are not random digits, not empty patterns. They are frequencies, whispers of destiny, blueprints carved into the very rhythm of the cosmos, waiting only for your awareness to bring them alive. Here at Old Buddhist Philosophy, we remind you that numbers are not lifeless symbols on a page. They are living teachers, companions of the soul. They rise when words are not enough, guiding you through silence, through intuition, through the subtle movements of fate. Nostradamus once wrote that signs would be given to those willing to see, and Baba Vanga often reminded humanity that the universe hides nothing, yet it takes awakened eyes to notice. These numbers are not coincidences, they are the gentle hand of destiny guiding your path. And now, as this month opens, the question is not whether these numbers are powerful, for they carry centuries of vibration within them. The true question is whether you are ready to embody them. Are you willing to close what must end with the wisdom of 9, to attract prosperity with the compassion of 66, to lay sacred foundations with the discipline of 22, to express joy with the light of 3, to embrace transformation with the freedom of 5, and to build legacies with the endurance of 4? Pause, breathe, and ask yourself, which of these sacred numbers is whispering most deeply to your soul in this season? Which doorway is the universe preparing for you, and which step will you dare to take? Share your reflection with us in the comments, for by speaking it, you affirm it, and by affirming it, you call it into being. And together let us declare with one heart, one voice, and one spirit: Injuries, I trust the quiet guidance, leading me toward abundance.